details what are the different versions of it. We'll start with Qliksense, where we will, in the second chapter, we will start with Qliksense so that you interact with the application built in Qliksense. You understand how to filter data, how to select data, how to create bookmarks, how to interact with the Qliksense UI. That is very important because a lot of people, they build dashboards, but they themselves don't know how to interact with it effectively, right? How to do the storyboarding, how to do a guided analysis. A lot of people don't understand it. So we'll talk about that when we say starting Qliksense. Then we will jump into designing visualizations. That's where we will create different kind of visualizations which are possible in Qliksense. Beyond that, there are some extensions which can be used to create some advanced visualizations. We'll talk about that. And then what kind of visualization is suitable for what kind of data, we'll talk about that. Then comes load and manage data. That is where we will load multiple data sets into Qliksense, create a data model, and use that data model effectively in the dashboard. We will do all of that in load and manage data. Then comes collaborate in Qliksense. That is where how do you publish an app? How do you collaborate with another Qliksense developers, or how do you collaborate with users? We will talk about that, all of that in collaborate in Qliksense. And then comes the Qliksense Advanced, where we will talk about some of the security aspects, some of the best practices, some of the mashups which you can do with Qliksense, because Qliksense gives you a lot of capability and flexibility in terms of how you can extend the standard Qliksense into an advanced tool, and how you can integrate some of the Qliksense objects into some of the websites, HTML based websites. When you go to some of the website, you see some fancy charts there. You can get those fancy charts pulled from Qliksense. That's what we will talk about in Qliksense Advanced. So this is our complete course or complete syllabus which we are going to cover. Okay, it will prepare you from very basics of BI, Qliksense, and then take you to the advanced level where you kind of bring multiple data sets, do some of the data manipulation, build charts, and then advanced security concepts. How do you give access to people? How you can control it? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Now, the very first section here, BI and Qliksense Introduction. Let's start with the very first one, right? Now, in this one, we will have what is BI, why we need it, familiarities with some of the BI methods and terms, because when you are coming from non-BI background, there are few terms which we use, such as KPIs, right? We use very often and very loosely saying that, let's build some KPIs. But what are KPIs? We'll talk about that. Why Qliksense and why not any other tool, right? What is the difference? How much value Qliksense brings as compared to other tools? We will talk about that. And I have experience working with quite a lot of BI tools. So that's where I can give you my perspective. Flavors and evolution of ClickView to Qliksense. So if you look at the history of Qlik, it started with ClickView long back, that there was a tool, and there is a tool which is ClickView. Then it improved and evolved to Qliksense. We will talk about that, why it happened, how it happened, and then show and tell Qliksense app, where we'll look at Qliksense app, how it looks, and then project lifecycle of any BI project. Every project has a standard lifecycle. For example, if you take any AI/ML project, it has its own lifecycle. It starts with some, and it starts with end. It ends with something. Similarly, if you take any app development project, it has its own lifecycle. Similarly, a BI project has a standard life cycle, which all of you should know and understand, because you are going to play a role in entire life cycle of a BI project, right? So you should know what to expect at any particular point in time. Let's jump into it now. So very first concept is, what is BI, right? And to discuss about that, I have two different things on my screen. On left side, there is this data. Okay. It's a sales data and customer data, right? There is a fact, there is a dimension. On the right side, you have one map which is showing dots for each customer with the sales. Okay. Now, Monday morning, you want to see in which region you are doing good, in which country you are doing good. You get a report on Monday morning. One is this Excel, and another report you get from another person, is this screenshot. Which one you will prefer?
Screenshot.
You will
That's
prefer
easy
screenshot,
to show.
right? Because you don't, Monday morning you don't want to do all this data crunching, right? You want to have a developer doing that, and you just want to look at the high level information and you want to look it in a visual form. Essentially, that is what BI. So BI is basically to get value from your data. BI is a set of processes, I would say, is a set of processes, architectures and technologies that kind of convert raw data into a meaningful information that drives profitable business actions. Now, this word, the profitable business action, right? We can debate over that. Some people might use BI to get the profitable business action. Some people might use BI to just monitor some of the key KPIs. Some people might use BI to look at some of the losses. So you can actually use BI at every part of the project, at every part of your organization to track data. But essentially, BI will convert your data into a meaningful information. For example, here on the left side, if you see, we had data in Excel, CSV or Excel form with lot of columns, right? Some of these are maybe meaningless columns for me if I'm looking at it, right? There is order date, there is year, quarter, month, year, month. I don't have to look at all four columns, right? I have nothing to do with order ID also. I just want to see the states and their sales. So that's where BI will kind of remove all the distractions out of the picture and just keep the key informations, which we typically called KPIs, right? Every business has their own KPIs. Now, if I ask you guys, what are some of the KPIs of your business? I know some of you come from BI background. You might have already built some dashboards, right? What are some of the KPIs?
Revenue KPI like revenue.
Revenue. Okay. Yeah. Revenue is one of the KPI. You want to track your revenue, which is typically called ARR or MRR, right? Monthly recurring revenue or annual recurring revenue. That's one of the KPI, right? What are other KPIs?
That
Come again?
that turnaround time.
Turnaround time. Okay. Great. Yes. That's another KPI, turnaround time. So I know Vinod, you are saying, right?
Yeah.
How about others? Saranya, Sarvanan, you guys, do you come from BI background or is it something new?
No, no, yeah. Couple of KPIs like imbalance amount KPIs, and to check whether there are any debts for any items or customs duties remaining amounts balance like that.
Okay, makes sense, Sarvanan. All right, thank you. So every business has KPI. If I come from finance, might have my KPIs. If you come from HR, you might have your KPIs, right? What is the retention rate? What is the employee uh, training percentage? What is the employee increment? There are different KPIs for every business, right? But essentially, BI is you have a set of processes, architectures, and technologies that convert your raw data into a meaningful information, right? So you should always try to create UI, you should always try to create meaningful charts out of data. If you give your data in a flat table form, it might not be very useful for end users. There could be some tables which can be useful with very impactful information with few columns, but if you just give raw data to people, they might not use it, they might not understand it, right? They cannot take any value out of it. So that is where BI is important for any organization. Okay. Now, going in bit more detail, and all of this is very important because we can, typically what we do as a developer or as an analyst, we just start working on things without knowing why we are doing it and what is the background of it. We typically don't spend a lot of time in understanding that, right? That is where it is important to understand what we are doing, why we are doing, and start from very basics. Okay. If you're already working in BI, some might think that these things are not something which will make a lot of sense to me, but it is important that you understand and you know all the basics. Okay. Now, what is business intelligence? As I said, there are tools, methods, and technologies which can be used to collect, analyze, and transform data to bring valuable and meaningful information to improve decision process and optimize businesses, right? So the work which you do as a BA developer has a huge impact compared to some of the other people working in the organization. BI, business intelligence team, or BI team has huge impact on the outcome, right? So it is very important that you bring right kind of analysis in your dashboards or track right kind of KPIs in your dashboard so that you can improve decision process and optimize business, right? Now, if you see here, tool, methods, and techniques which can collect, analyze, and transform data. Now, if you have worked on Tableau, okay, do you think Tableau can collect and transform data to a great extent? I know one of you have worked on Tableau, right? If you want to chime in. Okay, so there is a tool called Tableau, right? That's a BI tool, but it doesn't have lot of flexibility to do data transformation. The ETL capability is weak in Tableau because in just the Tableau dashboard tool, I'm saying they have, Tableau has different tools which can do ETL, but just the BI Tableau tool doesn't have lot of ETL capability. Okay. Then there is Power BI, another BI tool, which has, obviously it has ETL and it has the visualization capability also. But because Power BI is fairly new in the market, tool is not as mature as Qliksense. Okay. Now, Qliksense has a huge history to it. So if you are learning Qliksense, and if you're planning to learn Qliksense, it has a huge history to it, and it is in the market from long period. That Qliksense is one of the first tool I can say which started in the in dynamic BI environment. It is one of the first tool which started with some of the associative engines, I can say. So, and it has a strong ETL capability, strong ETL capability. All the SQL experience which you have, you can put that in your Qliksense ETL in the script in the backend. So all the data manipulation joins, you can do all of that in Qliksense. And then you can create some nice UI, fancy looking UI charts also. So Qliksense will typically complete this entire flow. right? It will allow you to collect, analyze, and transform data with a very good capability. It will allow you to bring some of the best analysis and which you can publish as a dashboard to your end users, which can improve decision process and optimize business, right? All the things which is written on the right side is just about this process. Okay. Any questions so far? Anyone wants to contribute or add something?
Yeah, one question, Arun.
Yes. So
Uh,
this is
Click
Navdeep. I'm Navdeep. So I'm your trainer.
Navdeep. Sorry, okay, got it.
Yes, go
It's
ahead.
like Qliksense is like a tool or a web application.
So it has multiple versions. Okay, we will talk about in the Qliksense evolution, but good question. You can use it as a tool or you can use it as a web application as well. So there is Qliksense Cloud and there is Qliksense Desktop, two different versions, but essentially consider it as a tool. Okay, and like any other tool, why you typically use a tool? You use a tool because it makes your life easier, right? You can do
Yes.
all of this data manipulation and dashboards and chart building in some of the programming languages. You can do it all in Python, right? But it takes time to do in Python and it doesn't have a great UI. It doesn't provide you a lot of associative experience and dynamic filtering. That's where you move towards these tools, and tools are there to make your life easy. So whenever you are working on any of these tools, start with the very first mindset that it is there to make your life easy and it is there to make your work easy. So when you are starting with any tool, they has to be easy to understand. If it is difficult, people might not use it, right? So that's where it is a tool, and it is fairly easy to understand, and it is very good, and it can make your life easier.
Okay, thanks, got it.
Okay, anyone else has any question or wants to add something? Because I know some of you come from Qliksense background. Okay, all right, let's move to some of the other theoretical concepts which are important to build the foundation for Qliksense, right? Now there are different methods or different things you do as part of your BI work, right? So very first is data mining. There is an explosion of data, right? Everywhere, every tool is generating data. Now, the biggest challenge is how to get meaningful results from the data, right? You get access to 100 different databases or 10 different data sources, but how do you bring any meaningful information or insights from data? That is what is data mining, right? So as a BI developer or as a business analyst, your very first thing is you should understand how to do data mining, right? How to use database. You should know basics of statistics, not very advanced. You just know what is mean, median, mode, what are different tests you can apply on data, what is sample, what is normalization and things, right? Machine learning, you know, good to know. And the good part is lot of these BI tools now comes up with machine learning, right? There are a lot of auto ML work which is there. So in Qliksense, you can actually do auto ML. Okay, so you can apply some of the machine learning concepts with Qliksense. Similarly with other tools also. Machine learning is just there to uncover some of the trends in data, or you want to do forecasting and stuff, you can do that, right? Now, another very important aspect is reporting. So you have already created certain KPIs, right? And you want to have a way so that you can track those KPIs on regular basis or on real time basis. That's where reporting comes into picture, right? Creating reports which gets refreshed on a given frequency and or gets published to the end users on a given day is reporting, right? And a lot of us work majorly on reporting. We spend a lot of time just doing reporting, right? Performance metrics and benchmarking. In any dashboard, there will be a lot of metrics. For example, someone said that, right? Revenue. So you have ARR, which you kind of track, but then you have a benchmark also, right? Your benchmark is probably last year ARR. If you are tracking monthly recurring revenue, you probably want to track it with your last month recurring revenue. And you want to say, there is a 10% increase or maybe 10% decrease. So there has to be a benchmarking, right? Benchmark is basically a number or a metric against which you can compare yourself. The way I am doing Qliksense with Tableau or Power BI. So the benchmark is probably Power BI. I'm comparing Qliksense and Power BI. I'm seeing where it stands against the benchmark, right? So as a business analyst, as a business intelligence developer, it is important that you understand the key KPIs of your organization or your department, and you understand some of the benchmarks, right? That is important. Now I want to understand, all of you are like, are you all of you are business intelligence developers or business analyst, or some other designation? If you want to just type your something in the chat window, I'm fine with that. If you don't want to speak up.
Yeah, now this is Saran, so I'm from a testing background, a senior
Testing
test
background.
analyst. Yeah.
Okay, great. How about others? Satyaraj?
Uh, Hi, Nadeep. Actually, I have experience. I'm working in Cognos BA and the Cognos PM1 actually.
Okay, you're working on Cognos. I've used Cognos in long time back. IBM Cognos, very good tool, and very good, reporting tool. All right. What about others?
Hi, Navdeep.
Myself,
This is Santana Yo. So I'm also coming from the testing background.
Testing background. Okay. Vinod,
I'm from reporting background.
reporting. And so you are a BI developer.
We'll be creating the dashboards also
Okay,
using data.
fine. Uh,
Hi, Navdeep. This is Saranya. I'm from testing factory. Navdeep.
testing. Okay, great. Did we cover everyone or anyone is left?
yeah, myself, Satish, part of RPA team. I'm more familiar with SQL.
Okay, RPA. Great.
Yeah.
So we have different backgrounds, right? There is a diverse background. There is reporting, there is testing, there is RPA. Great. Good to know, right? So that's where ask questions, okay? If you are not comfortable with some concepts, please feel free to ask questions. Make it interactive, because when you come from certain background and you are seeing things for the first time, you should have questions, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So now first three we looked at is data mining, reporting, performance metrics, and benchmarking. Okay. Now another one is descriptive analytics. Descriptive analytics is basically, you talk about what happened in the past, right? All your reporting dashboard, let's say this is your dashboard, you have here 4 charts. What they are telling, they are just telling the past, right? Things which has already happened. So you should understand what is descriptive analytics, which is typically telling about past what has happened. Predictive is where you kind of predict what will happen in the future, but typically all reporting revolves around descriptive analytics. Okay. Querying, asking data specific questions and pulling answers from the data set. You should have this mindset when you are looking at any of the BI work. You should have that mindset to ask data specific questions, right? For example, what is my revenue? Let's look at it. What is my revenue by department? Let's look at it. Which employee is bringing highest revenue? Let's look at it. What is my booking? From where the highest booking is coming? So you should have always a question which starts with what, why, and then you try to answer that with data. You try to support it with data. Okay. So in BI, you should always have a mindset of asking data specific questions. If you don't have certain mindset, you need to develop it. Okay. Start with always what. Here it is slightly different. Start with what, and then look at why with the supporting charts with the data. Okay. But you should have a mindset where you are asking questions or querying, asking KPIs or querying your data and answering those questions with the data. Okay. Statistical analysis. So taking the results from descriptive analytics and further exploring data using statistics, such as how this trend happened and why. Right? If something is happening in the data, there are very basic statistics tests which you can apply to make sure that is it a random thing, which is one-off thing which is happening, or there is a statistical significance of this happening. For example, bookings are very low from a particular country, or a revenue is very low from a particular country. Is it a one-time case, or there is a statistical significance of having a low revenue? There are statistics tests which you can do to find out that. And at times you don't have to know that also. Some of the BI tool supports that. Okay. But good to know some of the statistical analysis. Data visualization. Very important concept which you should know. Right? Turning your data analysis into visual representation such as charts, graphs, and histograms to more easily consume the data. Taking our very first example, if you are seeing a flat file, you cannot consume it, right? You cannot make any value out of that flat file until unless you know how to process and make some charts. But if you get a good looking dashboard screenshot or a report itself, like the way you can schedule some of the reports, if you get a good report in your inbox, you can get value out of it, right? You can take decisions. You can probably take some corrective decisions, or you can take maybe some business decisions. But you should know what is data visualization. How do you turn your data into a visual representations? Not difficult thing. There are maybe 15 different charts which you should know, and if you know those charts, you can always play with them, putting right chart for right data. Okay. You should know how to do visual analysis, exploring data through visual storytelling to communicate insights on the fly and stay in the flow of analysis. What do you understand from this? Anyone wants to chime in? You know, try
Um,
it.
so if we see in any graph or chart, it has to explain what is the problem as well as the history of that.
Right. It has to explain. And as a BI person, or as a someone who, and when I'm saying BI person, I'm not saying that you should have a BI developer designation tag to be a BI person. For example, if you want to use some of these in your testing experience or in your testing work, because dashboards and reporting used everywhere, right? And I am so The BI term I'm using very loosely, but for your business, if you are using any of the charts or dashboards and you've built it, but if you don't know how to do a storytelling, how to basically walk someone through your analysis, it will be difficult to kind of explain why you built that chart, right? So it is very important that you are able to visually story tell or communicate what you have built. If you have used 5 different charts, it is not like you will just build 5 different charts in a dashboard and ship it to the leadership or to the business. You might have to get into a call and explain them what these charts are doing, why you built it, what exactly you are getting out of that chart. It is important, right? So it is very important that you understand how to do storytelling and you are able to communicate your insights. Okay, so important part of BI is visual analysis. Now the very last one I would talk about is data preparation. And trust me, 70% of your time you will just spend on data preparation, or it could be 75% as well. And some of you, who are already working in dashboarding or coming from Cognos background can say and can resonate with my thought that 70 to 75% of the time you will spend is on just data preparation, where you are pulling data from different sources, applying some of the joins, filtering, doing aggregation of the data, building right kind of tables in your data model so that you can build right kind of charts. So 70 to 75% of the time you will spend on data preparation. So compiling multiple data sources, identifying the dimensions and measures, and preparing it for data analysis. Very important task. I know a lot of people, they can create charts because when you come from Tableau tool, you can drag and drop and create charts. It is very easy. But the data preparation work is which takes a lot of time and people struggle with it because they have never created any data. They don't know how to prepare data. So the good part is all of you come from SQL background. You know how to create views. You know how to apply joins. You know how to create calculated fields, right? All of that will help you here because data preparation is a major part of your BI methods. Okay. So quick recap: data mining, reporting, performance metrics and benchmarking, descriptive analytics, querying, statistical analysis, data visualization, visual analysis, and data preparation. Not too many, right? 9 different things which you typically do as a BI person or as a someone who has created dashboard. These are the things you typically do. Okay. Any question, anything you want to add, feel free to do that.
No.
Okay. All right. Let's jump to, the landscape change from traditional to modern BI. Okay. So when I say traditional BI, Cognos is actually one of the traditional BI. Now Cognos is developing and becoming like some of the modern BI tools, but Cognos is a conventional traditional BI tool. Similarly, there are other tools which are very traditional in the approach and the tools which were used 10 to 15 years back. Okay. There was a time when the approach which was used by BI is top-down approach. Okay, where business intelligence was driven by IT organization. analytics questions were answered through static reports. So it was driven by IT organization, and mostly there were static reports. Now, what do you understand from static reports?
It is a default report. We can't able to compare with the latest.
Okay, fair enough. Default report. Anyone else want to also add?
It's standard report, like we can't do any dynamic changes to the report.
Okay, good enough. And when you say dynamic changes, what do you mean by that?
We can pass parameters and those stuffs, and for timestamp we can give those things, right? But static is kind of legacy.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, all right. Anyone else? Saranya, Sarvanan? All right. So some of these static reports are reports, you know, which cannot be changed based on the user inputs, or they are not dynamic and does not support associative experience. For example, let's say I give you one dashboard. Okay, left side there is a filter which kind of change your dashboard based on the filter, based on what you select in the filter, and the dashboard is about revenue and the filter is department. Okay, so you can select department 1, your dashboard change. If you select department 2, your dashboard change. If you select department 3, your dashboard change. This is dynamic report where there is a lot of user interaction, right? Based on the user selections, your report is changing. Whereas there are certain technologies which provide you static report. It does not interact really well with the user inputs, does not change based on the user input, and you cannot start analysis from any side of the dimension. Those are static reports. Now, few years back, all the reporting was controlled by IT team, IT organizations, which used to run SQL at the back end, pull data, and share that data with the business users, right? Now, if a business user has another question in the mind, okay, department 1 is doing great, but which product they are selling? What was the way? Business will go back to IT with, can you add one more dimension in your query? Can you add department cross product and give me the report? Again, IT team will make that change, create another report, send it to the business user. Now business user got another question in the mind. Okay, department and product is fine. In that product, which SKU is doing good? Third question. Now again, the same process. So the turnaround time was long, right? For every request, it has to go to IT organization. They build it, ship it back to business. The turnaround time was huge, slow and frustrating reporting cycles. Okay, it used to have slow and frustrating reporting cycles, people not able to leverage current data and make decisions because IT organizations were typically overwhelmed with lot of requests coming from multiple business users. They were not able to cope up with the multiple requests and not able to give the current data to make decisions. So the top-down approach was used in the traditional BI. Then came the modern BI. Okay, it changed to modern BI where IT departments still hold very important part of managing access to the data, but users can customize and create their own dashboards on top of it using some of the self-service capabilities, which democratize the data, and users are empowered to visualize data and answer their own questions. Now, what happened? Very first thing is as a BI person, you gave them a dashboard with 4 different charts and 10 different filters. Okay. Now business can filter and see whatever they want. First, they just select a department. Then they thought, okay, I want to look at product. They selected product also. Then they thought they want to look at SKU. They selected SKU also. And then whatever other filters they thought they wanted, they got it added. And now they can do analysis on their own, right? They have everything which they want, and it dashboard is acting as a self-service to them. There are another ways where as a developer, you gave them all the dimensions and all the measures and allow them to create their own dashboard. And your selection is associative. You select something in one chart, it changes things in another chart. It refresh your entire dashboard based on your selection. That is what is modern BI, right? Where business can take decisions on their own. They have all the right information they need. Information is democratized. It is not controlled by just IT department. IT department is just there to manage access to the data. But once access is given, multiple cubes are created, multiple data warehouses are created by department, and then dashboarding is done on top of that. There is no cycle where it has to go back to the data team and data team has to provide report. No, now everything is there with every team. Finance has their own dashboards, testing team has their own dashboard where they track how many bugs are there, how many unit tests are there, how many different tests are there, right? So all of that is now controlled by the own departments, and every department has a BI developer who is building these reports. So that's where we moved from traditional to modern BI, and Qliksense is a modern BI tool. Okay, Qliksense is a modern BI tool. QlikView is a modern BI tool. And Tableau, Power BI, all of these are modern BI tools, which allow you to do data analysis, which allow you to do democratization of information, which allow business to take right decisions. Now let's jump to another slide. Okay, all of you are with me?
Yeah, no.
All right. And feel free to chime in if you need a break or something. Okay, but make sure you are focused here. There is a lot of information, and this is like a building block for your BI journey. So this is Magic Quadrant, which is typically released by Gartner. And if you know, Gartner is one of the organization which does a lot of surveys. Okay, now they release every year a Magic Quadrant where they put all the BI tools in a quadrant to show which is doing how compared to others. Now on the x-axis you have completeness of vision, on y-axis you have ability to execute. Okay, and they have created quadrants out of that. There is one which is niche players, which are like they have low ability to execute, low completeness of vision. There are visionaries who have good vision, but they are not able to execute, right? They are low at execution. If you see where it stands here, low on execution, but high on vision. There are challengers who are basically may not have great vision, but they are good in execution. And there are leaders who have great vision, great completeness of vision, and ability to execute as well. Okay, and Qlik is one of those. Qlik is one of the leader in terms of completeness of vision and ability to execute. There is Tableau here, there is Power BI, and here is Qlik. And it changes every year. Okay, it last year Qlik was slightly somewhere here, probably if you look at 2018, 2018, there was no Power BI. That time, Qlik was on top. So it keeps on changing. Today, Qlik is here, probably tomorrow, next year it move here, next year it move here, but it has been leader from the time I know. Some of the others, for example, Looker, or from example from AWS, there are other clear site tool and stuff like that. All of those are at the bottom if you see, right? So if you are doing Qliksense, which is, if you're learning Qliksense, you are learning something good, which is part of one of the leaders, and it has been leader from past 10 years. There are a lot of great things which are being added by Qliksense as we talk. Now, we looked at the rating. Just a reminder, right? We look at the Magic Quadrant and we see that Qlik is one of the leaders. Now, to understand on which all parameters they have assessed it and have assessed all other tools is important, because it will give you perspective that what is important for a tool to be a good tool. What is important for a tool to be a good tool in BI, right? So let's look at some of the parameters they have assessed it on. So one is security. So Gartner has assessed them based on security. What are the capabilities that enable platform security, administrating of users, auditing of platform access, and authentication? So one of the very important criteria on which they have assessed tool is security. The tool has to be secure. There should be ways to enable access to users to the tool, right? For example, I want Saranya to just have access to department 1. There should be a way to do it, right? I don't want to show any data beyond department 1 to Saranya. Similarly, I want Vinod to have access to department 2. I don't want to show any data beyond that to Vinod. There should be a way to do it, right? There should be a way to auditing the platform access. Who is having what kind of access? Are there right people with right access or not? There should be a way to do that. There has to be right authentication. So all of that is assessed by Gartner when they said Qlik is one of the leader in that. Governance. Capability that track usage and manage how information is created and shared from prototype to production. They look at governance, and which is one of the important criteria. Cloud enabled analytics, the ability to build, deploy, and manage analytics and analytic application in the cloud based on data both in the cloud and on premises and across multi-cloud deployment. So if Qlik is one of the leader, it automatically has these features. That's why it is leader. Okay, so you can pull data from multiple different sources in Qlik, and it has multiple ways to do development. There is Qliksense developer, there is Qliksense cloud, and it can be used on multi-cloud deployments as well. So it gives you that flexibility. Data source connectivity, capability that enable user to connect to and ingest data contained in various type of storage platform, both on premises and in the cloud. Data preparation, support for drag and drop, user-driven combination of data from different sources, and the creation of analytics models such as user-defined measures, sets, groups, and hierarchies. The tool should have data preparation capability. Cataloging, the ability to display content to make it easy to find and consume. Let's say you have 100 different tables in your tool. There should be a way to look at all those tables, analyze and consume, right? There should be a clear pictorial representation of all the tables on your screen. So that gives, Qliksense has that. That's why it is leader. Automated insights. A core attribute of augmented analytics is that ability to apply ML techniques to automatically generate insights for end users. What do you understand from this? Automated insights.
Suppose it's like sales by revenue or sales by this month. Those things it will be automatically created when you search any
Perfect. Perfect.
search.
Yes. So these visualizations gets automatically created. Tool should understand what are important KPIs and should be able to create them automatically. Now it is up to you if you feel that important or not. You can keep it or drop it, but it should be able to automatically create those insights for you. So Qliksense allow you to do that. Data visualization. Now you see data visualization is not at the top. This is somewhere in the middle. So data visualization is by default needed in a tool, but there are other things also which you need in a good tool. Data visualization, support for highly interactive dashboard and exploration of data through the manipulation of chart images. This include an array of visualization options that goes beyond pie, bar, and line charts, such as heat and tree maps, geographic maps, scatter plots, and other purpose visuals. So what do you understand from this? A tool should support highly interactive dashboard and should have advanced charts beyond just pie, bar, and line chart. Advanced charts are some of geographic maps, scatter plot, or some of the Sankey charts or other specific charts which you can build. If a tool is just supporting basic pie chart, bar chart, line chart, it's not a leader. The tool should have something better than that. That's why it is leader. Natural language query, where it enables user to query data using terms that are either typed into search box or spoken. So you can talk with the tool. So you can tell a tool, show me highest revenue by department. It should automatically get you the answer. There should be a way to chat with the tool. In the chat window, you type, show me highest revenue by department. It should give you response. That is what is natural language querying. Data storytelling, ability to generate new style data stories, combine headlines, narrative, text, data visualization, audio visual content based on the ongoing monitoring of findings. Anyone wants to chime in? What is data storytelling?
It will tell the clear picture, like the whole story, what we are doing in the dashboard or any other means.
Great response. So you can build a dashboard with 20 different charts, right? But now your boss comes and says that, give me a report on our business. You will not just give him dashboard, right? You might create a specific storytelling report. You start with the problem statement. You put a right chart with right filter after that. You put another chart to add more value to it, and you create your story in a report. That is data storytelling. Data storytelling is a report out of your dashboard. Okay, a specific guided report is data storytelling, and we will talk about it more, all of this. But on a high level, that is what is data storytelling. Then comes natural language generation. Automatically generating text, charts, information, key findings out of data is natural language generation. Reporting. The capability provide pixel perfect parameterized paginated report that can be scheduled and burst to large user community. People coming from Cognos can understand this, right? So you have parameterized paginated reports in Cognos, right?
Yeah.
Now, a tool should support reporting. it's not that, you have 100 users, you have 100 people in your company who want who want to get the data, who are part of business and need analytics, but not 100 people will come and log in into your dashboard, right? Some might have some challenges, XYZ challenges, and they will never log in into the dashboard. However, if they get a report in their inbox, curated report with right set of charts and right set of analysis, they might open it in their inbox, right? So a tool should have that capability that on a Monday morning, it should be able to send reports to 100 users or 1,000 users, right? Because not all 1,000 user will log in and do clicks in your dashboard and get to the data. They want that in their inbox. So that tool should have reporting capabilities. Now, the point of discussing all of this is that Qliksense has all these capabilities. That's why it is leader, right? That's why it sits on, somewhere on top of all the tools. That's why it sits here. It has all the capabilities. And data visualization is not the only capability you need in a tool. You need 100 other things, and every year it changes, right? If you go back in 2015, I don't think you ever had a cloud enabled analytics, right? There wasn't any cloud. Everything was on premises. So these things keeps changing, and that's what define the final outcome where a tool stands. Today there is cloud. Tomorrow there could be another capability which could be metaverse, right? A tool should be able to run in metaverse. So it could be the criteria can change. So that's where these are some of the important things which are right now applicable in any BI tool to make it great. Any question?
No.
Okay. And how about others? So I see couple of you are active, but not all of you. So I have to, end of the week, I have to tell if people are active in the class or active in the session or not. So please be active, be interactive, ask questions, add value to it, okay?
Sure.
Sure, Naveen.
Perfect. Now, we talked about all the parameters, how a tool is rated, what is important in BI, what is BI, where Qliksense stands compared to others, right? Now, another very important thing is how can we speak same language, right? Now I am speaking in English, all of you are able to understand, right? If I speak in some other probably regional language, not all of us can understand it, right? Everyone has their own languages. Similarly, BI has its own language. There are few things which are very specific to BI, might not be as casual or normal to people coming from different background, right? So it is important that we set the label, and all of us can, talk in BI terms. So for that, let's understand what are BI terms. Okay. So very first is ETL. You will hear this word very frequently in all the BA projects, that you have to do this particular calculation in ETL. You have to do this particular calculation in the backend. You have to do this particular calculation in the script. What does that mean? All of that is ETL. Extract, transform, load. Most of us know it, right? But just to remind again. So ETL is extraction, transformation, and loading. Extract is extracting data from multiple sources, right? So this is your Qliksense. This is your Qliksense, and Qliksense is typically called QS. Okay. Now, this is your Qliksense, and you have multiple databases. One is AWS Redshift, another one is probably Snowflake. I will call it SF, Snowflake, and Redshift, I will call it probably RE. You pull data in Qliksense, flat tables, that is your extraction part of the ETL, right? Then you feel that you need to transform the data. You need to join those tables and filter some data and create calculated fields, right? All of that is transformation, where you transform or standardized for storing in a specific format. You transform and standardize your data, and then you load it into the final store or warehouse. Now, Qliksense in a normal form does not allow you to store data in any database. Okay, it does not allow. It has its own format in which it stores, which we will talk about later. There is something called QVD in which it stores data. For example, Excel has its own format, right? Excel has .xlsx. Similarly, Qlik has its own format, which is QVD, which is basically, it's when it started, it was Qlik view data file. Okay, QVD in which it stores. But there are some external third-party extensions which allow you to write in database. By default, Qlik does not write to any database. It can store data in QVD. It can store data in Excel. Okay, XLSX. It can store data in CSV and TXT standard formats, but it cannot interact while storing data to any database. All right. ETL process is commonly run in parallel with transformation processes, executing as data is being extracted from sources. ETL systems commonly integrate data from multiple applications managed and operated by different employees. Fair enough, right? Now the Salesforce can be, finance database. Redshift can be your sales database. What ETL will allow? ETL will allow you to bring data from any database, do the data processing, transform, and create data in a standard form. That is ETL. Now, in-memory analytics. And this is again a term which is used very frequently with some of the modern BI tools. In-memory analytics is the process of querying data when it resides in your computer memory, such as RAM, rather than on physical storage device such as hard drives. Now, the benefit of having a data in a RAM is it is faster to get access to that data for the system, and it is faster for system to process that data and prioritize any task on that data because it is in the RAM and not in the hard drive. You don't have to spend time on input output operations when it is in RAM, right? Because the first memory system can access is RAM. After that, it will go to hard drive. So all the BI tools, they run in memory analytics. So they basically use your RAM to kind of store and process data. In-memory querying is incrementally faster than alternatives, resulting in expedited business decision driven by data from business intelligence application. As the cost of RAM continue to decline, large-scale in-memory analytics is being more feasible option for many organizations. So any Qlik or any BI, I can say Tableau, Power BI, or any other BI, they are heavily dependent on RAM. If it is not your RAM, then it is probably your server's RAM, right? If you are using a cloud-based version of any of this tool, that is still installed somewhere, right? And that the installation where it happens, it is heavily utilizing RAM because a user can actually access RAM very easily, efficiently, and faster to do data processing. And they are all are in-memory analytics tools.